because of their mindset or their wishes. However, we should also add what we witness, the facts that we see. Those drinks that don't meet the standards and sometimes lead to death should be our focus. We should ask ourselves, is that true? Do people die after consuming them? Is it true? Anyone who wants answers will find them on that question. Anyone who wants answers will find them on that question. They do kill. They have killed people, a large number. If you follow the news, which I hope you do, you would know that the numbers are not about 1 or 2 people. People do die. 20 here, 30 there, 50 there. Sometimes there's a day we had more than 100 deaths. And I mean in a single day. When you add up the number of deaths over a year, you will have an idea of how many people lost their lives. Before I come to employment and factories, let's first answer the question regarding human lives and health. Do we want factories and jobs that will lead to death? Or do we want products that will kill? People, you supply to factories, you manufacture products, and when you get home, you die if you make the mistake of consuming the same product that you manufacture. People should be concerned about those issues. We are talking about important matters here. Those drinks that kill people are not manufactured here only. Some are imported. Some of them are imported from outside. They come into the country without meeting the standards, and they lead to death. You see, there are several ways of killing people. Some people die on the spot in the same week after consumption, and some die a slow death over a year. As you drink them, you are slowly dying until you finally lose your life completely after a year. And I don't understand anyone who would support that. I don't understand somebody who is more concerned about the jobs in factories and the investments in those factories, ignoring the victims of those products, as you know and as you can witness. Take, for instance, a factory. or the brewing of such products in a home or in a factory. People are being killed. Your products kill another group of people on another day or at another time. I'm talking about the same place. Those products kill again. What do you think about your product? And apart from you, the manufacturer, apart from you, the manufacturer, ask yourself, how governed, or how would it be? Would that be a country that lets others without any consequence? Reason why those standards and other things prosecuted. That's what to protect, or to make that kill us. But a time will come for them to answer their role. No one else intervene on their behalf. Issues there have been related drugs that are alcoholic drinks. Call them great. They are killing people. They are killing children. They are killing young people in this country, and even some adults are consuming them. These kill. These kill. Can a country just buy and watch dying? We should ask why people are dying and why products are being banned in this struggle. Those listening to me, those who are involved, know that we are going to deal. People know what needs to be done to the standards. We will not admit that people with people, if those products approved, that's not my matter. As a country, I'm concerned with the health, and I want them so that they know what is useful to them and what is not useful to them. Anyone who wants to break the law, or those who want to do pursue their interests without any other concern, they will meet the authorities responsible. They'll have to answer for their. I've observed one thing. I've saying the approach, criticizing the approach that people follow in arresting people, in monitoring everything, people asking questions. Well, maybe, but it's a minor to the issue we are dealing with, and this minor problem can be solved by the authorities. If some organs are not working, adopting the right approach, that can be changed, but that does not prevent us from dealing with this major issue that we need to solve. Those who wish that we should come hard against those issues, but that we should have a mild approach and so on, I think that's not a concern for us.
Thank you, Excellence. I am Kakoza Nkuriza Charles, known as KNC.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. KNC de TV1. Il y a un an, l'accord de Washington de paix a été conclu, mais jusqu'à présent, le FDLR continue de menacer la sécurité du pays. Récemment, et nous avons entendu parler d'un nouvel accord de cantonnement mais le Congo est en train de dire que tout cela doit être conditionné à l'accord de Washington. Mais, Monsieur le Président, est-ce que vous voyez les choses comme cela, ou est-ce que c'est peut-être un moyen politique détourné d'arriver à ses fins? Bon, dit le Président, le problème du FDLR est problème connexe. Vous savez que nous avons au Congo, que nous avons surtout en Est RDC, ce n'est pas compliqué, hein? Ce n'est pas compliqué à comprendre. Ce qu'il faut comprendre, c'est que c'est un vieux problème, vieux de 3 décennies, et que le monde entier s'est impliqué, que ce soit les Nations Unies, les États-Unis d'Amérique, l'Europe, l'Asie, tout le monde, même l'Afrique surtout, bien sûr, parce que ça se passe en Afrique. Alors, tout le monde essayait de faire quelque chose. Alors, si vous voulez suivre le problème dans ses racines, sans les biais, les déformations, les complications que l'on crée, d'ailleurs sans raison. Si vous voulez comprendre, les faits sont clairs. L'origine du problème est claire. Tout le monde le connaît, cette origine. Alors, comment le problème a été traité, maltraité, tout le monde a subi cela. Les acteurs sont connus. Et on parle, l'accord de Washington, c'est l'autre jour. Parce qu'avant ça, il y avait des bruits, des gestes, disons des gesticulations, hein, une centaine au moins. Mais le problème ne se résout pas. Certains voudraient simplifier le problème en disant que la cause de tout ça, le mal, c'est le Rwanda. C'est que s'il n'y avait pas le Rwanda, on résoudrait ce problème. Si on pouvait, je ne sais pas, mettre le Rwanda quelque part dans les îles, parmi les îles du Pacifique ou aux océans Indiens, si on pouvait enlever le Rwanda de cette région, peut-être que ça irait mieux. Peut-être qu'on trouverait des solutions. Et bien sûr, il faut se poser la question, est-ce que ce serait vraiment la solution? Parce que vous voyez, il y a trois parties prenantes. Le Congo, la communauté internationale, qui s'est mal comporté, il n'a fait que semer la confusion. Et troisièmement, il y a le Rwanda. Et quatrièmement, il y a la région, le pays de la sous-région. Et peut-être qu'ils n'ont pas contribué au problème. Ou plutôt, ils ont contribué au problème, mais pas à la solution. Mais il semble que l'on ne prend pas en compte les erreurs des uns et des autres. Personne ne regarde la racine du mal. En tout cas, pas à ma connaissance. Jusqu'à présent, personne n'est allé au fond des choses. On veut simplement
So one day, FDR, yes, they are there. Then the next day, no, they are not there. Actually, they were finished. Then another day, who are the FDR after all? I think Rwanda is just creating this thing as an excuse to go and steal minerals in Congo. And this kind of, I don't know what to call it, the kind of argument that goes on, even with the people you thought they were really serious. I think sometimes we overrate the capacity of leaders and countries and so. When you listen to some of these arguments and the people they come from, you really wonder what you have to deal with. So no root cause addressed. Then immediately there are sanctions. sanctions. I've never understood. You know, sanctions, yes, they really create problems. They do. But that is all. There are problems added to the problems that were originally there. That's all. It's not anything originally there. That's all. It's not anything to do with trying to address the problem. And especially if you look at the manner in which they are applied. You instead of sanctioning FDLR or those who work with them or support them, they sanction those who fight them. I mean, I don't understand the logic. Then instead of saying, in Eastern Congo, there is a problem of Congolese who are involved in this conflict for their own rights, the AFC, M23, and many other groups that have been fighting there. So, what is the origin of this problem? Is it really Rwanda's case to answer? Are we the ones denying these Congolese their rights in Congo? Are we even the ones who actually made them fight to restore their rights in Congo? I will always come back to inform you as whether you want to keep it in mind or what. Even the origin of this conflict, as we know it, which started in, is it 2022 or what? We are now running into, is it 22? October 21, running into 22. How did it start? Actually, this conflict was started by Congo itself, working with people to have this invasion into Congo start, and the plan was always to put it on the shoulders of Rwanda. Try, without mentioning names, without anything, you people try to, as you live here, find out where did these people who are fighting originate from. Where did they come from? Did they come from Rwanda? If you find they came from Rwanda, maybe there is a reason to say, yeah, but there is something Rwanda is not saying in full. They are giving us a piece of story. Find out. So, the start of this conflict is not by Rwanda. And then Rwanda comes to own the problem, the origin of the problem. It is made to own the origin of the problem. Our Rwanda's problem has always been FDLR in Congo. I can repeat it 100 times. And if this problem of FDLR is not resolved, of course, Rwanda will always remain involved as part of this problem. I mean, there are no two ways about it. And this is something we have said for the last 30 years. So if you don't want Rwanda, if anybody keeps saying Rwanda, 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 and doesn't want Rwanda to have anything to say in this, why don't you remove this problem and see whether Rwanda was using it as an excuse? But there is even open information. By the way, people in Kinshasa, the government and officials, they say it publicly, openly. They've said it many times over a long time. They tell you, yeah, you want to bring change in Rwanda. The people that are saying this, FDLR, yeah, we see, okay, we are going to deal with them, we are going, like you said, they are the ones saying it. They are saying they have done something about FDLR, it is because they are there. If they were not there, they wouldn't be doing anything with or against FDLR. But what we know on a regular basis, they arm them, they integrate them in their own forces. And we have evidence because we have people here. We have people here, former FDLR combatants, who have been part of all those efforts. And either some of them came back home on their own or were captured in Congo, and they are telling the same story. You people, if you know a place called Mutobo, there is a place called Mutobo where we take people and for the effort of reintegrating them in the society. These people are there, they give you space to interview directly these people who will tell you these stories. The same people of the UN, the same people in the US, the same people in Europe, the same people who keep asking questions, some of them representing their own governments, have actually been there and they have been told these things, and the very people involved have given them anything and everything they wanted to know about FDLR and how it is well embedded and supported by and in Congo. So these questions that keep coming, you know, I mean, we live in a world that is like this. We have to deal with it the way it is. So for us, I mean, we have calmed ourselves down and are having to deal with the world that we have. We cannot create our own world. That's too much for us. So we deal with it as the way it is. We carry the blame that is not ours. We've been insulted, abused, belittled, and to a point that sometimes people are made to feel like you really don't matter in this world. What they tell us, what they keep saying, it's like they're giving us a message, you don't matter. So sanctioning is just to punish you, to drive the screw hard into your back. And at that expense, they promote whoever they want to promote for whatever reasons that are not my business. But the question remains, how do we behave ourselves? One, we behave in a manner that protects us at any cost. We will do anything that contributes to that protection, day or night. There are no two ways about it. That one we will, no question. We will also try to do what is right. If we, you know, we are a country that can't afford to mess up. If you give the so many enemies we have an excuse, a chance to bring it to us, I think it will be largely our mistake. So we try to avoid that. We do what is right to protect ourselves, and we will do it without fear or favor, day or night, anytime. We are happy to do that. Actually, it's a pleasure to do the hardest task to protect ourselves. That's what it is. And the rest, what we try to do is actually, we've been trying to team up with other countries in bringing peace in different parts of our continent. And that simply underlines how much we want peace. Rwanda, we want peace. To the point that we are ready to fight for it. And that's our main thing. We want peace, and we want to work with others to have peace. So with all that I have given you, figure out what answers your question. But that's what it is.
Thank you, Excellency. We'll take the next question. We'll take one from James Munyaneza, TNT.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is James Munyaneza. I'm from the New Times. And I want also to go back to the issue of the region. Of course, we have Burundi to the south. And the president of Burundi recently said that there were conversations with Rwanda, and Rwanda made the commitments that he claims Rwanda did not honor. If you could shed some light around that, and this relates to the suspects linked to 2015.
Shed light around something that didn't happen.
Okay, I think that's very important to understand, because he made these claims.
But let's be clear. That where did that happen and when?
So from what you were saying,
yeah,
it sounded like there had been conversations between the two countries, bilateral engagements.
When? What time? Because the time matters.
I think that was not clear from what he said.
So everything is not clear.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know how you can answer that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because there is no commitment we ever made that we did not fulfill.
Okay.
Not with the president of Burundi, not with anybody.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Unless really something comes up specifically, then I will answer it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's now clear enough.
But maybe you might find one night he dreamt and thought it had happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing I remember when we talked, and actually he's the one who did not do what he, and I think I have ever said this, at the beginning, when the Burundi forces went to the north of Kivu North in Goma and other things. When we learned it, we learned about it through intelligence. I called, I'm the one who called the president of Burundi that time and asked him, I asked him that I have heard there are forces of Burundi going to our north Kivu. I said, why would you be, and I told him, I said, there have also been these accusations that Burundi, in a way, has been associated with this FDLR. Much earlier, before there had been some, we remember in Inyungwe area when there was, there were reports and there were incursions from Burundi, some group called this, they have some name.
FLN?
FLN. They were coming from there. So I said, but I have heard, on top of that, association of Burundi with FDLR. Now I'm hearing that you are sending forces to North Kivu. I said, President, is this true? The man said, no. It was like, who told you? There is nothing like that. In fact, he insisted, he told me I should check, I should cross-check my information. That those people who just want to cause problems, must be people who told me lies, and so on and so forth. I said, President, I will take your word, much as I think the reports I received were credible. But I will take your word for it. I mean, a couple of weeks after, they were captured in the North Kivu. Yes, I had discussed it with him. So I don't tell lies like he did to me. I don't. So on that one, I don't know which meeting or commitment or whatever he's referring to.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. President, on that. Finally, if you may allow, recently there has been reports about a planned oil refinery by Al Dangote in the East African region, in Kenya specifically. And then reports also, were saying Kenya is, that he had offered a stake, 30% stake. And then they mentioned Kenya, Rwanda, Ethiopia, and other interested countries. Has there been such a conversation on Rwanda potentially acquiring a stake in that project, that oil refinery? Just in case, thank you.
In a way, there has been. But it is too early to talk about the details, because I think it is work in progress. Things are still being thought out. But what I can say is that Rwanda would be very happy to be part of that kind of investment.
Thank you, Excellency. I'll take another question. Yes, Miriam? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mariam, and I'm a content creator from Morocco. I have been cycling around the continent for the last 3 years, crossing 34 African countries. And while traveling, I saw how...
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And while cycling, I saw how much it was challenging and expensive to cross borders. And
especially Rwanda.
Rwanda was visa-free, so I was glad this
I thought it was challenging in terms of mountains and...
No, the physical challenge was easier than the borders crossing.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so while crossing, I saw how this limits African connection with each others. Yeah. But we saw how Rwanda was example of African interaction and making it easier, like for Africa.
We can think together with others if they want, so if they invite us, if they think it is helpful. But we always want to do our best at home here. But in the meetings we have had, and there have been several at different government official levels of different countries on our continent, to talk about this visa-free or making really ease of crossing borders and so on and so forth. We give our opinion, not only our opinion, but example of what we are doing for ourselves, so that other people either may, because what we are telling them, first we demonstrate that we have not encountered any serious problems by making it easy for people to cross our border, in or out. We just demonstrate that. We haven't found any problems. What we have discovered are only benefits. And that's what we share with the people. We tell them, for us, in our experience, we have discovered the benefits. And we tell our brothers and sisters, why wouldn't you want these benefits yourselves? But that's where we stop, because we can't do anything for anybody else. So, yeah, we keep doing what we think is best for us, or even for the continent, that is within our means, and keep sharing it, and keep looking forward to working together with others on the continent to do really what is expected. That's the only thing we can do. Yeah. So otherwise, I mean, one of the benefits is that you can be there and tell the story. You didn't lose anything, we didn't lose anything. I think we gained that you were able to come to our country and do whatever you want to do, and you will leave when you want to leave, and you will come back sooner rather than later. And that's, so imagine if it was multiplied thousands or millions of times, the benefits the Africans would have in that.
Thank you, Excellency. Shall we take a question from Iramide, the front? The front.
Good day, Mr. President. My name is Iramide Ajoyi. I'm an actor, digital creator from Nigeria. It's my first time in Rwanda, and I must say it's beautiful. Thank you for having myself and the other creators. I'll be speaking from the perspective of a creative, essentially, and tying it to the ASG theme for this year. If Met-Africanism is pretty much about moving from simply recognizing our shared identities as Africans to more or less building together at this time and building meaningful connections, what does that exactly mean for the African creative industries? Essentially, if you have to put in place some policies or whatever changes as the president to further help African creators, African creatives in general, build sustainable careers, collaborate together, and essentially tell our stories ourselves on a global scale, what would that policy be? And I think because you just said something almost similar to my question in response to Miriam's own, because you don't want to think for the rest of Africans, I think you should just tell us from the perspective of your position as the president of Rwanda, what exactly would Rwanda do to help build a better ecosystem for African creatives? Thank you, sir.
Yeah. First, the African creatives exist, and that's why you are there and doing whatever you're doing. You started the journey yourself, and it's a good thing that you really happen to be. And with all the work you've done, or what you've gone through, what are the hindrances you've encountered on the way that you thought and said, no, but if this thing was not like this, maybe I would do better, I would be better in service of the creative industry. So bear that in mind as well, because that helps me to say, oh, so meaning the task is for both of us. You tell me from your experience, and I will respond to that with my responsibility at the policy level to make sure that the obstacles you meet maybe shouldn't be there, and therefore they should be removed. You see what I mean? Yes. This conversation is already useful. You are there, and like others who raise it, whether it is the AFCFTA or the lady from Morocco who was riding through this country, and the creative, and so you're all having a journey in your minds and in your experiences and whatever professions, and in trying to go a step further every day, there might be challenges that raise in you some questions you should put to us and say, but how? How come that the proud African continent that wants to achieve this and that, at least we make all this understood in the way of statements. How can you be the ones at the same time who create these obstacles? Really, this should be a very serious conversation, and you should not hesitate to raise it. Rather than for me to say, as the president, I will try and do this and do that. Maybe some of the things I even have in mind to do are not answering your questions. Yes, I want, give us what you think, and then let's talk about it. Let's find a way to, right? You want to give him a microphone, he wants to say something. Please, whoever has a microphone, where are you? No.
Thank you, sir. I think you have rightfully made a fantastic point. It's clear that it takes two to tango in this situation. Now, from my POV as a growing filmmaker, I work in one of the biggest film industries out of Africa, and that's Nollywood. I hope for a time when the talent that we have in Nollywood can transcend into more African countries. And I'm not even saying outside of Africa continent right now, because I think that we don't have a talent problem here in Africa. It's more of a connection issue. Now, what Rwanda is doing is beautiful, bringing creators from across the continent to connect, and I think we've collaborated more because we're now in the same space, and you're doing something as beautiful as the ESG initiative. If there's a request that I would make to make this easier, as regards connection from one African country to another, which helps creators better, would be that, I know that you've tried it before, because you said that you've tried advising people about the benefits of, hey, make the borders a little bit more easier for people to come in. And, of course, you can't think for them. You've shown them the benefits, it's up to them to decide. We would just make a little bit more request that, please, for our sake, just maybe from initiatives like this, and of course the stories that we would tell as creators out there for people to see, just help us find a better way to
nudge them.
Yes, like, guys, I want you guys to see it. So well, maybe our presidents and policymakers would do better.
Yes,
thank you so much.
I'll try that and anything that can be. One time I had an opportunity. I also had recently, there were some leaders from Nigeria. One time I met governors, came here. They came here, I think they had been organized by UNDP or something. They are the ones who asked, through the interaction with the UNDP and others. They had learned of a number of things that maybe that could be useful to them in the governance area if they tried it. So I had a very long chat with them. I varied my time. What I did was to take them through where we have been and how we have come to be where we are by the time they visited. And I said, there are aspirations, people want to, come from one position to another, but it's all about how you can improve. It's always going forward and better. So I took them through everything I could think of. I said, for you, some of your states have bigger GDPs than Rwanda's. So it's not for you even an issue of resources. You have resources. But what do you want to do with your resources and how to the benefit of your different categories of people? Meaning, I don't control their GDPs, their budgets, their money. No, it is them who control it. So where do you want to put it? And that's why I was giving them what we are going through and where we put our money and why and so on and so forth. But also, governance is just not about that. It is also about some of the things we are talking about. Making it easy for people to do what they can and want to do. The ease of doing anything for people. I took them through that, and I also showed how deliberately we put some laws in place to actually facilitate that. But it's not the laws that are going to deliver, it's again the practice. The practice that includes accountability and different things. So I took them through all that. So therefore, the whole idea was, and by the way, we included how crossing of borders, from one country to another. And the other day, in another meeting here in Kigali, there was one of the great Nigerians, a very wealthy man, who told us a story, how he went to some country in Africa, they literally at the airport told him to go back, and this is a man, a wealthy man, worth billions. So. And even has investments in that country. But they turned him back at that airport. They only allowed the pilots, I think, to go and sleep because they had been flying for so many hours. I mean, why go through that and why take somebody through that? What is the benefit? What is the principle behind it? So these are some of the things, and it is everybody's task. Those who want to do whatever they want to do, to keep voicing that and saying, please, don't stand in our way. What we are doing is not harmful to anybody, but beneficial to everybody. What is the answer going to be from those who create obstacles? I don't understand. So anyway, let's keep trying. let's each do our parts from whatever vantage point we are, but working together even more, we can make a difference. I'm sure the story of the lady from Morocco, so riding through, first of all, cycling across Africa is very impressive on its own. I mean, for somebody to try and put a roadblock for that, I mean, I don't know, it must be crazy. Yes. So, yeah, we can keep talking about it, but there are things that are self-inflicted, problems that are self-inflicted here on our continent, to say the least. Self-inflicted. They are problems we create for ourselves. But let's keep trying.
Thank you, sir. We'll take one more question. Scovia, please, go ahead.
Mr. President. Your question, explain to me what happened between both of you. Thank you, Mr. President. My problem was that I did not master the language of French to a level that the minister expected. I tried to put his words into Kinyarwanda, and he answered me that I did not do it well. Was he correcting you, Kinyarwanda? He had written a message in French answering on this issue of Congo. He was answering some people. We tried to put into Kinyarwanda what he had said in French, but we did not translate well. Was there a contradiction between what he said and what you wrote? We never got to know what was the problem. Maybe he was trying to say something, and your translation was different from his words, meaning putting words into his mouth. Or was he criticizing the quality of your language? I don't see a problem with that. Saying what I said in your own words, even after this press conference, you could use your own words to render my answers, but the content should be the same. If there is a small hiccup in terms of language, I wouldn't see a problem. But if you changed my words, where I said no, you make it yes, then that would be an issue. We never changed his words, but we didn't render it in good French. No, meaning the level of Kinyarwanda he used was not the same as the level of his French. Is that right? You people are really good at creating unnecessary conflict, says the president. Then he answered, I remember it was a Sunday, maybe because I was alone, maybe if I were with other people, he would have given me a better advice. I told him that he did not correct us. He was answering that we should learn French better, and it's true, I'm not good in French, but some of our collaborators do speak French. So I excuse myself. Why did you have to excuse yourself? Because I didn't answer to the minister. Even to this day, I'm apologizing. No, he should apologize to you. These issues of protocol, journalists are not bound by protocol. Okay, I really want to clear this issue because I saw an apology. I didn't understand why. Maybe someone wants to intervene on this matter. Not explaining. What was said in French was not well reflected in Kinyarwanda. The Kinyarwanda was not bad as a language. The content was not rendered faithfully. What was the difference? Asked the president. It was not the opposite, maybe, but the message was not the same. We all saw this, and we said, if you don't know French, there is no need of creating a content that's not true. But maybe you looked at the level of the language. I'm interested in the content. Wait, say the president. The content was that, what did she say that the original did not say? What I remember, because we all saw this, the minister did not do anything wrong. He said, I said something and you are telling Rwandans something different. But you can't say exactly what it was. Mr. President, at this moment, I really can't remember. You are saying forcefully, as if there was a substance. There is the form and there is a form. There's the form and there is substance. Was the content misrepresented? The form regarding language might be different, but did it change the content? Yes, it did. You say yes, and when I asked you what was changed, you can't answer me. The minister is also present. He can also say something. Maybe you should have told me to answer the minister. Sorry, maybe you have told me to ask the minister. Minister, it's important for me because I saw an exchange. There is no protocol in this in these matters. I saw an exchange. People saying she answered unpolitely to the minister. Thank you, Excellency. It was not an issue of protocol. It was not even an issue of being disrespectful to the minister. That was not my problem. My problem was the content. I had said something regarding the meeting of Africa Forward Summit held in Nairobi that we had attended. Let's quickly talk about the substance, says the President. The government of Congo had stated that they said that Rwanda attacked them, and they said that to the participants in the meeting. But during that meeting, the President of Congo was not present. He came at the end as they presented their candidate for the position of Secretary General of the Francophonie. I said that in a tweet, saying that what the Congolese said was not true. As my words were being rendered, my content was questioned. Who? Scovia with other journalists who shared the stage in Mamarwa Gasabo were commenting on my message. They said that my words were going to be asked to Sherry Silva, who is an artist who had been invited to come to a party organized after Africa Forward Summit. And I said it was not appropriate. What is it that they said and that was not faithful to your words? It is this message that Congo criticized Rwanda. They questioned it. Yes, they questioned my message. They even said they were going to ask the artist. Were they saying that what you said is not true? Yes, that it's not understandable. That they were going to ask this musician that maybe the musician would tell the truth. What was not clear? That's what I am wondering about, because I was saying something clear. I said Congo criticized us about what was said during Africa Forward. I criticized Congo in a tweet, and they criticized me saying what I was saying was not clear. What does it mean not clear? That my criticism to Congo was not clear, and that was the person present. What I said was clear. There is something missing, says the President. There's something missing here. Did they write saying what you said is not right? Were they saying what was rather right? What you said, what was wrong? No, they were questioning the veracity of what I was saying on a basis that I can't understand, because my words were clear. Congo was not present. Were they questioning, saying Olivier is lying, that is not true? What is it that they were criticizing? Did they repeat what you said by saying it in a distorted way? What was it? They were saying that my words were not clear, that I, as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who was present at the meeting, that what I was saying isn't clear, that they were going to ask a musician who was not even present in the meeting for the artist to tell them the truth. What was the role of that artist? The artist was invited in the party to entertain people after the end of the meeting. And another question, why would that exchange on social media? You see, I had been telling her, writing to her, telling her the translations that were not well made, or the interpretation that was not well done. So what they said was not an interpretation. They just said that what you said was not right. They were questioning my message. They were questioning what I said. This is very intriguing, says the President. Mr. President, thank you again for giving me the floor. Who was with you at that time? Those who are journalists, my colleagues, they are not here present. Try to be brief. What happened is that the government of Congo said they were present. The minister was affirming that they were not present. Is it a program that you are running? Yes. We said we were not there as journalists. Minister was saying Congo was not present. The Congolese were saying they were present. And there was an artist who was claiming to have been responsible protocol. They have even been photographed in the presence of the President of France. So we said we would ask someone who could be probably neutral, who was not the minister and who was not representative of Congo. We wanted to know if they saw the Congolese delegation. So what was the problem? The problem came when the minister said on Twitter, Madam Motesi, your program is confusing Rwandans. My words are clear. Next time, find a journalist who masters French who can translate my words correctly before you discuss that in a program. If necessary, ask me or contact me. You have a problem. The minister, Olivier, claims that his words, when he said that the Congolese were not present, according to him, you seem to disbelieve that. That created confusion. Therefore, it's not an issue of languages. It's not an issue of Kinyarwanda or French. The minister says these people were not present at the meeting. Then you say, no, what the minister is saying is not true. These people claim they were present. The minister says they were not. And you conduct a discussion on air about it. This is not an issue of interpretation. It's the issue of knowing what was the Congolese delegation present or not. It's not an interpretation of Kinyarwanda or French. You are saying, Minister, you are saying that they contested what you are saying, but they're saying, let's ask other people. The Congolese seem to know what they're talking about, as if they were present. Maybe they were present. Therefore, they want to know if what you said is true. It's not an interpretation issue. It's not a language issue. they are contesting your statement. The minister says the Congolese were not present. We don't believe that. Let's ask somebody else whether they were present or not. This is not an issue of language. They are contesting what you said in whatever language you said it. Am I making sense? Are you following me? This was not an issue of language interpretation. It was not about the quality of the French or the Kinyarwanda used. Where does that issue of language come from? What is at issue is to see whether the Congolese were lying, they weren't present, or they were right, they were there. But the minister says they were not present. The substance of the matter. How did you change it into a language issue? Even the minister, I'm speaking to the minister. When did it become a language issue? It's not a language issue. Even if she had understood your French correctly, she would still have doubted the truthfulness of what you said regarding the presence of the Congolese. Because the understanding is that you claimed they were present while they were not. Is that an issue of language? How can you have an exchange on these things in the media? Thank you, Mr. President, to give us the floor. I followed everything, and I actually commented, and the minister wrote to me because I said they should have said that privately. Yes, not in public. The minister told me this had gone too far. According to my analysis, the reason why the minister mentioned the language, I think there was a lot exchanged. There was a wrong translation in words. I think so. The concern was not the content; it was the language. The way they were rendering what was said was that the language did not. It was not accurate. Somebody just wrote to me and said, please ask for the floor and explain. Sherry Silver was introduced as a joke. It was not something heavy. But the minister said, Mama Rwagasabo is a followed platform. People who are following you need accurate information. Don't confuse people. The president says, what kind of information? Mr. President, this was an important issue. The Congolese said the president was present when he's not. Minister wrote a message. And here are people trying to question his message. But this could have been solved privately. Maybe you have nothing to do. I don't see where the issue is. Even the minister. What is so important about this argument? Why argue about this? Albert, you said something. You seem to be forceful. What is the substance of this conflict that really occupied people's minds to this extent? I was looking for the original text. This started when the Congolese themselves announced false information. Yes, we understood this, says the president. Then, the minister answered saying what you said is not true, the president was not present. Exactly. Then, in Kinyarwanda, confused. He said, I'm speaking clear language. Next time, find a journalist who understands French. It is the interpretation of his words from French into Kinyarwanda. But why didn't the minister explain what he had said in Kinyarwanda? The issue is not the language. The issue is that among those discussing on the side of the minister or the Congolese or the journalist, somebody misrepresented the facts. So it's not an issue of language, says the president. Yes, there is a problem. He answered. That's why the minister says you need to find people who can translate French correctly, because the translation of that French into Kinyarwanda telling the public was wrong, was erroneous. So what did the minister solve? What problem did the minister solve? He needed to solve one problem. He needed to put it clearly that the president was present or not present. Any language you might use doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that either whatever the language used, whether the language was correct or not correct, they are claiming that the president was present. But what you're saying is that the problem was the language. Yes, as the media, you don't disseminate wrong information. So the minister thought that this wrong dissemination of information was based on a misunderstanding of the language or poor understanding of the language. You also have a problem. Is the problem the substance or the language? The problem is the wrong language, the wrong substance shared by the Rwandans. What? Questioning what the minister said. Yes, now you're talking. Now you're talking. She questioned what the minister said. That's the substance. No, Your Excellency, the problem is the minister wanted the Rwandans to understand the accurate message, but the media rules are such that before you disseminate information, that information needs to be accurate. If you misunderstood a message and rendered it incorrectly, then it's a problem. What did she tell them? They were questioning what the minister said. Why not? That's what happened. I thought you, as a journalist, you should be asking what I'm asking. The journalist doesn't have to conform with what the minister said. It's not right. I followed, for instance, because I knew the truth of the message. I was saying my colleague is sharing wrong information. She questioned. She wanted to know the truth. That's not sharing false information. No, she seemed to say that the Congolese were right. But she could... Albert, calm down. Calm down. Did she question what was written in French or in Kinyarwanda? The minister says something. He was present. As a journalist, I would quote what the minister said. Why can't a journalist say, I wanted to verify whether what was said is correct? Congolese or the minister? As a journalist, why can't I question? According to you, minister, what was the problem? Things are becoming more and more complicated. Minister, what, according to you, was the issue? Thank you, Excellency. It started because of translation into Kinyarwanda. These were journalists, 4 of them, I think. The tweet was in French. What was the error that they made? They translated. And what wrong impression? What did they distort? I can give you an example. On the issue of Congo, whether Congo was present, Congolese delegation was there or not. I can give you an example. Scovia said maybe they were present, but the president was not present. Maybe the delegation was there. But I had said that the chair was empty, and that was true. There was no one. There were no people sitting there. Okay. You could have told her, no one was there. That's all. No other conflict was necessary. No other exchanges were necessary. That's what I had said in my tweet. You're right. Nobody owns the truth. Nobody owns facts. Nobody's words is unquestionable. You're right. Somebody wanted to know whether you were right or not. What's wrong with that?
Your opinion can be not just owns the fact. And that's why journalists, as ntabwo numva iyo umuntu yavuze ikintu kubera ko ari minisitiri byanavuzwe ko ari minisitiri so nobody says anything kubera ko byavuga na minisitiri.
What is the argument?
Congresswoman, I own a TV station. The minister is saying that we are not well educated. We could lose some business. For me, you would lose some business if you apologize. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Kagame. I work for Mamaro Gasabo. My question regards the laws, labor laws. These days, the workers of the private sector are often not given contracts, and when they are not paid, it becomes difficult to ask for the respect of their rights. Sometimes they are not paid up to 3 months. What's your question? The question is that the labor laws should be applied so that the employees also enjoy their rights and they are paid on time. That's true. I've observed that sometimes people demonstrate in the street because the employers have not paid them. That's not fair. I don't know who is responsible here, but that should not happen. There should be accountability when people employ people and don't pay them. This has been happening for some time. Minicom, yeah, present. People should be paid. Do you know how many times this has happened? Minister of Law Government, you've seen people demonstrating because they're not paid. You've seen this happen? Why? And when this happens, the consequence for the employers who are not paying their staff, what are they? What are the consequences? Don't worry, this issue will be solved in one way or another. Thank you. I'd like to conclude by asking a question because an issue concerning the prices on the market. This is a problem all over the world. Some people are really living in dire situations. The leaders, local leaders, the people in hospitals, they really are facing major issues of survival. The president says these problems do exist. We know them. These issues of prices on markets linked to the economy of the country and the prices of the imports. These issues are permanent. We need to find a way of solving this. We know the issues, and that's why sometimes there are adjustments and targeted assistance to categories of citizens. For instance, when you see the government offering subsidies, what is subsidies in Kinyarwanda? She says, you know that these are all efforts that aimed at the citizens who are having very difficulties surviving. These subsidies are not enough. They are to the level of the means at the disposal of the country. You're right, we have these issues in the country. The prices of everything have increased. The interest rates, for instance, on loans, the price prices of food in the market have increased. We are dealing with these issues, but we are relentlessly looking for ways and means of solving these problems, but you can't solve them to the satisfaction of everyone. But efforts are being made, and everything is being done to try and solve these issues. That's why we try to work on the price of diesel and fuel. We try to reduce the burden on transporters, but without those interventions, if we didn't try to mitigate these issues, the problems would be multiplied by 2 or by even 3. With your permission, I'd like to conclude with the issue of cleanliness. We have tall buildings in the city, and they get more and more built, but these buildings are not accompanied by measures to evacuate the wastewater, and this leads to bad smell and some other problems. Minister of Infrastructure, don't you know this? Did you know this about this problem, or you were waiting for journalists to mention it here? This problem has to be solved in one way or another. Tell people to do what they need to do when they're building their structures, and there should be penalties if necessary. Let this be done very fast.
Then we start with we'll come back anyway. Let's have 15 minutes. And then we'll go until tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Welcome back, Your Excellency. With your permission, we may resume the conversation. Let's put up your hand if you have a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Oswald Mutuyezu. Oswald Kim. I would like to ask you a question regarding infrastructure, namely water and electricity, regarding the progress made from the time of the rebirth of the Rwanda nation. I look at it and say, in 94, what number was equal to the station in Musanze. Although we have enough power, sometimes there are power cuts. What can be done so that we have enough power for industry and all other activities? The same with water. Yes, infrastructure for water is increasing, but the population and other needs have overgrown the capacity. During this dry season, things seem to have gotten worse. What can be done, Mr. President, so that we have enough water, especially since when it rains, infrastructures are destroyed, we have soil erosion and other such damages by water. What can be done, Mr. President, in that area? In your question, you seem to answer the question. You mentioned how far we've come. You said it was very different from the current situation. This means that investments need to be made. I said something similar as I was answering another question. What we want to do is much more. The resources are not to the level of our ambition at this moment. We need to do everything we can to increase the resources so that we can improve the infrastructure, water and power infrastructure. But on the other hand, we need to manage better and more wisely the resources that we have. You mentioned the rains that destroy infrastructure. I think in that regard, the government and the people privately can have a margin of action to mitigate this problem. This is a recurring problem that needs to be resolved. The government needs to increase the resources, but also the way things are managed needs to be improved. We should be able to do better what we can do. What we can achieve, we need to do it. So you see, some people fail us, some institutions fail us. Therefore, we need to follow up and supervise these activities so that we can at least maximize our chances. The problems that you mentioned are recurrent, but we need to keep finding people who do the right thing at the right time, using the meager means more efficiently, while we continue to try to mobilize more resources. Such actions are the basis for Rwandans to assess the performance of their leaders. When time comes, we pay for that. We are judged on the basis of our performance. The citizens should use this as a standard to call to account their leaders. They should sometimes punish us for not performing correctly.
Very much, Your Excellency. My name is Jackie Lumbasi from RBA. Seeing as we have a good representation of the continent in the room, Your Excellency, you have always argued that the African continent is not short of resources or capable people. Sometimes our problem is how we view ourselves, how we think of ourselves. And you even mentioned earlier, some of those problems are self-inflicted. Your Excellency, Rwanda is set to host the Africa Mindset Reset Forum. As we host this forum, I'm wondering, in your opinion, not to speak for any other person, in your opinion, what is that mindset that you want to see Africa change? And when we change it, what do we replace that with? Thank you, Your Excellency.
You want to preempt my discussion? So why don't you wait just another few hours, and tomorrow we'll be together. I'll tell you what I think, so that I avoid repeating myself. Right? Actually, part of it I have already said when I was answering some questions earlier. But the mindset, as we know it, is, people talk about the mindset makes these components work, well together. So let me leave it at that. The rest you'll hear from me tomorrow. But mindset is important, and Africa has to do something about it. It has to think of how our mindset changes, and we leverage all the opportunities we have and capacities. They are there. But the mindset lacking creates a lot of problems for us. Yeah, you can have somebody, imagine, you can have even a country, let's say like ours. The leadership, the behavior of that leadership, matters a lot in how do we deliver on certain aspirations or promise. Remember long ago, just a quick example here, well, like in many other places, but let me talk about here. Many years ago, we really had the people, including those like in your category, those who are here, who would not do much that they could have done. just because they think it is somebody else's responsibility, or worse still, they think somebody will come from somewhere outside of our borders to come and help, or to come and remind you what you have to do. And then you could find leaders really so deficient in this area, where they would just and adoring others for what she or he could have done himself. That's a terrible thing about mindset. Even when all the means are there, you still want somebody to remind you what you should be doing, or to instruct you, or you even feel you are accountable to the other one. I mean, about your own business, which really amounts to a shame in a way. So let me stop it here.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead.
We'll take the next question at the front, Israel.
All right, thank you very much, Your Excellency. My name is Israel Laye, and I am a broadcaster. I've been working as a broadcaster for 27 years, but I'm here at the behest of InfluencerAfrica.com, because we brought the content creators to Rwanda at the behest of ASG. And I want to say thank you for making it possible for us to be in this room. My question has to do with ASG as a co-founder of the Africa School of Governance. I want to understand what success will look like for you, as in for the establishment of ASG, what success will look like for you, let's say 5 or 10 years from now.
Yeah, success is defined by the very things we talk about almost on a daily basis. So success for me is in some layers. The first layer is here. I'm talking about Rwanda. That's my main task. The other success is derived from knowing that Rwanda is not an island. It's part of the region, it's part of the continent. Rwanda's success without the success of others doesn't make much sense to me. I want to succeed where others are succeeding too. And, therefore, it means addressing those problems, some of which you have just mentioned here. Let's say we talked about trade. We talked about the continental free trade area, which should allow people to freely move across borders and goods and so on and so forth. So success for me is to see it working. On one part, it is working. For one layer, that is mine, the Rwandan layer, because we tried our best to say, okay, people, you should trade with us. We are making free, this movement free across our border, and we are allowing goods to come in. And so you should allow others to come to you as well, and each other. That's the way we should treat everybody. So success is about this. It's about transformation. we talk about improving the livelihoods of our people. But every day, whether you're crossing here or wherever, you see things that tell you there is still demand for that to happen, and probably faster. So that is, and the whole idea of SGs, that African part, it's just to say, please, can we come together? Can we study together? Can we act together? Can we deliver together? Can we benefit together? So the whole idea of having such an institution is really to remind ourselves of our honorable but heavy task of making progress. Success is about making progress in things you have identified that matter to that success, and there must be a way even of measuring that. So, in a nutshell, for me, that is how and if the institution can be part of that, or act as a catalyst, at least to deliver, as many other institutions elsewhere might do the same, then I'll be happy that we'll have made our own contribution.
Thank you, sir. We'll take the next question. Vincent?
Murakoze, Excellency. Vincent Misano, Kati Press. Maybe I should start by begging Your Excellency's pardon, because I seem to ask more or less the same question whenever I get the opportunity. But it is a recurring theme, and we're back on the DRC crisis. So it is beginning to look incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to avoid the conclusion that the influential, powerful nations of the West are intent on directing attention away from the underlying causes of the crisis in the DRC. It's gone as far as a rather astonishing comment within the latest group of experts report that Rwanda, quote-unquote, sponsors armed groups. They never say which ones they are. They are brazenly pretty much projecting what the DRC does onto Rwanda. Now, in order to avoid looking at the underlying causes, Rwanda is being scapegoated. So really, when you have these powerful nations thinking of nothing of going into the UN Security Council and looking away from the actual causes of a crisis, I'm wondering, Your Excellency, what is it that is left for Rwanda to do beyond repeating the facts about on the grounds, repeating the truth? What else can Rwanda do to ensure that we come back to actually looking at what the crisis is about? And immediately, if I may, sir, very quickly, we hear a great deal about African solutions to African problems. Now, the DRC crisis is one of the gravest on the continent. But Africa, the organization, the institutions that should be looking at this, seems to be absent in action. So again, is there something that can be done to bring the solutions back to where they belong, and rather than outsourcing them to people who seem to have deaf ears to what really the solutions to the crisis are? Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Well, I think it's all well put, and just to say, what does Rwanda do about all this? First, survive. and thrive. We have to make sure under whatever circumstances we stay intact. We still can survive all this and live by our right to live. Our right to live cannot be taken away by anybody, including the powerful West. Cannot take it away and from us. And so we have to make sure we stay together. We stay, as I said earlier, doing what is right that we can do. But you've put it so well. I mean, you can't help but wonder why this problem that has been there for these 3 decades, these problems don't go away, despite so much in terms of interest and from all over the place. And but we remain the course and keep contributing to what can find a solution, help us find a solution. And I mean, some of the things you've said, and I'm glad you are the one who said it, not me. Because when it is me, then it is another problem. But I build on what you've just said so accurately. And let's say if you look at the composition alone of the so-called group of experts, the composition has a connection with the history, has a connection with the history of this problem for probably centuries. So these are the people who are supposed to be understanding the root causes of things we have to deal with. And they frame it like the root causes are just recent. Something that has a root cause in a century that has passed is portrayed as if the root cause was just 5 years ago. And there are people, even when you are reasoning with them, by the way, and saying, no, this is a fact, you can cross-check, this is a fact, and then they will say, no, but the group of experts are saying this. They refer to their people who have already written, framed a narrative that people must believe, not to address the problem, but to address it the way they want. You see? So, and to go back and forth, we keep explaining, what you see, look at this is the one, this is that, this is one thing later, and you demonstrate it, and even give evidence. Like I told you, there are people in Mutobo who testify to journalists, to government officials who come from abroad, and they tell you the story. It's not one, it's not two, it's like hundreds of testimonies. But they will still come back to what they want. Everything will be rubbish, to put aside, and they'll bring you back to what they want you to follow. So it's difficult for me to say, what can I do? To say, do I change the understanding of the problems that affect me or the underlying facts relating to that and agree with them so that I survive them? So is that an option? For us, we are left with very narrow choices to pick from what we do. The choice is just to say, well, this is a fact. The cause is this. We are the ones concerned. We can tell you what we feel. So we say, this is where we are, and just go and do whatever you want. And that's how people go and do whatever they want, because even as I said earlier, it doesn't have to be addressing the problem. No, it's just sometimes it is either arrogance or wrong exercise of power that people have, and so they'll go back and sanction because you didn't agree with their falsehood. So meaning they are arm twisting you to bring you to agree the wrong thing that they're. So what do we do? So we just stay the course and keep explaining, keep doing our best, and you can see here you have, let's say, two parties to the problem. Let me say that. One is actually less responsible for the problem being there. The other one is directly responsible. So the powerful will come and say, you know what? We want this responsible person, even if he's wrong, but we want him to be the one seen as the right one. And you argue, you present your case, but they say, okay, if you don't see it that way, we will sanction you. So they will sanction the one who is less responsible so that the one more responsible benefits the way they want, or benefits them the way they want. There is nothing you can do about that, except if these people decided to change their mind or the way they look at the problem. So for you, what you do is you just hold yourself together and try to survive everything being thrown at you. That's it. Otherwise, it cannot solve the problem. That you threaten me, you even try to do harm to me, or you try to do this, and so that somebody is broken and delivers whatever they want, even if it is wrong. So we just make sure we are not broken. That's it. It's our duty to make sure we don't get broken. And do the best thing. So what else can we do? What was the second part of your question was?
Yes, the African organizations outsourcing.
Unfortunately, the African solution to African problems hasn't really worked in a long for a long time. It has become African problems added to African problems. Yeah, that, for me, that's what it's African problems for African problems. That's what we get. And some Africans are happy doing that, happy being part of it. And of course, then you will see the other non-African players who are powerful. They are enjoying that. No, they enjoy everything out of that. So these are things that we live every day, we see every day, and that's the life. And there has to be a way of continuing to find a way to live people's lives. We have to. Rwandans, we have gone through so much of this kind. I'm not saying that we are used and therefore let that continue. No, I'm only saying our history and the problems thereof have just shaped a situation where we have to try and cope every day. But we always have to do our best, and we will. And yeah, it's one day it is here, another day it is somewhere else, and so we keep going. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir. Diana?
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Diana Iriza, and I am the correspondent for TRT World based in Istanbul, Turkey. Your Excellency, Kigali city is developing rapidly, it's growing, but for many ordinary Rwandans, especially the young Rwandans, are being kept stuck by the real estate business. For many of Rwandans here, finding it difficult to own a decent home. Do you have any concerns regarding this? Do you think we are building a city that could be unaffordable to most Rwandans, and what do you think should be done for this to change?
What should be done is what we are doing. Of course, if you, as you are saying, it's growing, isn't it? The city is growing. The population is growing. The demands are growing of everybody. We are trying to cope. I can't tell anybody lies that yeah, I have a solution. That next year when you come back, you'll find I have solved this problem, the one you have asked. No, I will be telling lies. But you will certainly find progress. You will find growth. You will find the way we address these problems. If you look at the continued growth of our economy, and we are trying to find a way that makes that growth contribute to the transformation and the well-being of people. I don't think there is any moment you will come back here, even after 3 years or 4 or 5. You come and you find there is no problem here. No. I'm sure even in the cities where you said you come from, where you are working, there are similar, yeah, but if you went to, you're employed by who? From? This one says, if you go to your employees, to your employers, and ask, you'll find they have similar problems as I have. there's not a city in the world or around, or a country where you'll not find such a problems. But you'll always find some countries or cities making more progress than others. There's no doubt. So we are only trying to make sure that we make progress, as much progress as we can. And you are talking about real estate. It's not even that. There are many more things. Yes?
Rwandan.
Yes, yes, yes. They are very expensive for ordinary Rwandans. But at least you are aware in the last, like, the last 15 years, we have resolved that problem for the majority of Rwandans across the country, not just Kigali. Yes. Whichever part of the corner of this country you go to, you'll find improvement for ordinary people. It's not, so be it across the country, be it in the city. So the country is growing because it is actually addressing largely that problem you've mentioned. Yes. And the economy has been growing, and the country, the population getting better for it because of those efforts. Again, as I said, if there is any moment you will come and find we have no problem, or you go around and not see any problem, I'm not telling that to you. I'm not promising anything, because I know we are going to live with those problems. But doesn't this growth of the city and the country and also impress you to some extent? It does. Yeah, these same people who are struggling, by the way, today to find, let's say, a house, or to, if you meet them maybe a year later, you'll find maybe they have made good progress. They have actually addressed the problem. So it's not an easy thing or easy question to answer, but the country is growing, and it is growing, not some people growing at the expense of others. I think you'll find that growth is really more or less evenly distributed across the country, better than you'll find in any other country. I would even say that. Yeah. But there are problems. There are many problems to deal with. We just have to deal with them and keep going.
Thank you, sir. We'll take the next question from Kennedy.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mine is not really a question, but first I want to appreciate this opportunity. And Mr. President, my name is Crazy Kena. I'm a content creator from Kenya. My main work is usually to entertain people by reflecting to them what actually happens. And I've actually done a skit regarding how Rwandan citizens relate with you as a president. After doing a lot of research, when I was walking around the city, I asked a lot of people, and they told me that we see our president as our father. I thought that was a joke until today I witnessed you solving as a case here and asking, what did he say? What did he say? So, Mr. President, your people really love you.
I'm as crazy as you are.
And lastly, Mr. President, you know, my father usually say that he believed that content can take people places. For me, I just request a selfie to go and show him that I met the president of Rwanda.
Yes.
And
I give you two. Do I have to stand or you'll do it just... Okay.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We'll now take a question from
Good day, Your Excellency. My name is Banele Reo. I am a content creator, but more importantly, I am an entrepreneur from South Africa. I'm here today because of an invitation by ASG, and this is my second time being here in 7 months. And the reason why I'm here is because of initiatives that you are directly involved in, like the ASG, we are co-founder. Now, my question is, there seems to be a really strong drive with your leadership in terms of entrepreneurship. So now, I'd like to know, going forward, for the youth, right, into the future, even beyond your tenure, what do you think is the priority, or what should the priority be for them? Between two things, for the youth, going forward, between serving in office, serving the people in office, and entrepreneurship? Or can there be a balance between the two? Because with your leadership over the years, you've shown that you serving people was the most important service that you had to do in the last 30 years. But I see a shift maybe going to entrepreneurship. Is that true?
Yeah. Actually, some people can have a better opportunity than I had of starting as entrepreneurs and ending as leaders who serve people. But beyond that, they could start with both. For me, there was no opportunity to start with both. I'd start as one, and so don't set any barriers in your mind. Just think about what you want to do, and for the young people, start with knowing and believing that you can do something. And starting from that, you can do many things. And so read correctly the opportunities before you, and within you the talents you have, and the desire you have, the energy you have. Don't waste any of those. Just use them. Let the limit to that come from somewhere else, not from you. Yes. So the young people should learn very fast. You know, learn at the earliest you can, the world around you and the opportunities available to you, and take it when it comes. So and just again, as we've talked about the mindset, you have developed a mindset where you don't complain about problems, but or look up to somebody else to be the one to deal with your problem. Start with yourself. And even if that was to happen, it happens when you have started the journey yourself to do things. Other people can step in and be useful, there's no question, and many have benefited that way. But start always with yourself, the thinking at least, because that shouldn't cost much to anyone. So the young people, use your time well, and use whatever investments that have been made in you or you have made in yourself to grow that, and also find ways of working together. One may not be enough, but 2 or 3 or more working together will always deliver something that is going to last, and much bigger than what any one person can deliver to you. So we in Rwanda, we had an opportunity when we were young ourselves. Some of it was to begin with, very risky. So it was extremely risky, but it was tried. And those who survived, who are still living, and what they delivered and still delivering has enabled many others to, I should say the whole country, to make a big, big difference for themselves and for the country. So the responsibility doesn't stop anywhere. It keeps coming from one generation to another and to another and to another. So play your part within your generation. All right?
Thank you, sir. We'll take the next question from Lionel.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity. My name is Lionel Nditebriye. I'm a writer for the Pan-African Review. My question is about Africa security, to be precise. We live in a world where a powerful actor can come and attack you without having so much as a good justification. So at the recent ISCA high-level discussions, the head of the RDF research and development said that Africa cannot remain a mere consumer of technology. And they were talking about autonomous systems, new weapons emerging. And you've talked often about self-reliance. And so I was wondering, in a sector like defense, how can we translate self-reliance into real capabilities, defense capabilities, and what can Rwanda contribute to that quest? Thank you.
Well, we are trying. I mean, the first thing is, I'm glad you had that discussion. The very fact that somebody put it forward like that within that context already shows from the thinking, practical things happen. In fact, it's not just self-reliance is in many aspects. It's not just in technology and different systems as you mentioned. Self-reliance goes into other areas, even of governance. As you have seen in Rwanda, there are so many things we've done in areas of governance and service and delivery, and some people will wonder whether We don't even have more resources than we are known for. It's like, how does a poor country get to be here on this, on that, and so on? That is delivered actually by that mindset of self-reliance. So the self-reliance aspect of it makes, you know, the aspect makes people, there are things I said when I was answering one of the questions. I said, do whatever you can within your means. There are people who have the means and they can't deliver on something when they have the means. In fact, some people have a lot in terms of means and they don't deliver much. So in that discussion, what was being said can be applied in defense, in I mean, again, another simple example, we are used to having, you have heard of peacekeepers across the world, financed by the UN, by big powers, and so on and so forth. And some security products that have to do a lot with the peace cannot be delivered because people will tell you there is no money to finance it. So we've tried to move around that and say, no, but there are some things that can be delivered even without much money by the UN or by the rich people. People know about Mozambique, or they think about Central African Republic. But I can remind you that, for example, you must have heard of a case in Sudan. Remember the conflict in Darfur. That was way back, even before we started having some of the things we have. Our forces went and served in Darfur, first under the African Union and then a hybrid African Union, UN. And do you know that for the first months, I think like 9 months, our forces went there and served without being paid anything. We were paying them from here. We were giving them their salaries, putting their salaries on their account here. And they were there. And whatever they were using there, we were giving them. That was, and what was delivered in that situation was better or more than we have seen delivered by so much money poured into a situation when you were there in Darfur. So it's again a question of how do you want to approach a problem. Having independence to do, it doesn't matter the size. Rwanda is not by any standard a big country. We are one of the smallest countries, I think, in the world. But does that stop us looking around for what we can do and within our means and do it? Or deliver whatever we can somewhere else, first looking at what is within our means? So it's that sort of approach that must have built on, or during that discussion that happened recently. There is and by the way, looking at what makes you independent does not remove the fact of the need to work together. Work together, but start from a point where you people coming together, each one of you must be saying, suppose the worst comes to the worst and I'm on my own. How do I survive? How do I operate? How do I deliver to an extent whatever I need to deliver?
Thank you, Excellency. In the interest of time, may we take just one last question?
I don't know how many, can see many faces here, people. Maybe we try and shorten questions, and I also try my best to shorten my answers, and we take more people.
Thank you, sir. We'll take 2 to 3 more questions. We'll start with you're the center.
You've taught me to say so many things. I never used to speak like this, but you made me talk and talk and talk and talk and
Muraho.
Yes, Baroness.
Joel Talargi here from Ethiopia. I'm a tech content creator as well as software developer. So I'm here for the forum. Thank you for this chance, Your Excellency. So I have a very critical and short question for you regarding technology and AI for Africa. So to make it short, AI systems are learning what Africa is from data. So systems learn from data, and that data is wrote about us that we didn't write. So Africans didn't write those data that AI is learning. And we have the youngest population on Earth, which is a very big thing, and the thinnest digital footprint of our own making. So my question is, what will African governments do differently this time? Not to consume AI, but to make sure that Africans creating content, data, and stories today are the ones training how models that will define us tomorrow. Yeah. Because every decision being made around the world is being influenced by AI. And AI is good if the data that it's trained on is good. If it's bad, it's going to be biased. And also AI is going to take jobs, and AI is going to affect the education, entrepreneurship, and every sector.